The league held their annual draft of Canadian players from colleges and universities this week, so I thought we'd start with a little quiz. Let's see if you can identify the following players. First, there's this guy. Now, this guy. What about this guy? And finally, who's this person? Okay, you might have got the last one, especially after former BC Lions coach turned TSN analyst Mike Benavides used the word snot bubbles during the network's coverage of the draft, which is really the only context in football where bubbles might be appropriate. See what I mean? The other photos in our quiz were of players taken in the top 10 of the CFL draft, including the first overall pick. But their complete lack of star power compared to the NHL or NFL draft is the biggest reason why the CFL version generally fails to capture the interest of anyone outside the hardcore fan and draft wonks, of which I am both, by the way. But it's too bad more people don't pay attention to the CFL draft because it's really important to the success of CFL teams. Finding 7 quality Canadian starters is the toughest challenge for CFL general managers. And it doesn't take an analytics guy obsessed with charts and graphs to figure out that the pool of available players is pretty small. Nor is it a coincidence that the teams who do the best job drafting and developing players, that's Montreal and Calgary, are also the ones who are the most consistently competitive, while at the same time those that don't have trouble winning. Cut to all the Bomber fans nodding grimly. The need for quality Canadian players is also the reason why 3 teams were willing to draft players who tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs at the CFL Combine in March. A story that was broken right here on 3 Down Nation, by the way. All 5 players are now banned from playing university football under CIS rules despite the fact they had eligibility remaining. They'll also undoubtedly lose their scholarships and be on their own if they want to finish school. But if the 3 players who were drafted make a CFL team, they'll be subject to mandatory drug testing, but still be able to play football. So even though the players tested positive at the CFL Combine, they're banned by the CIS, but are still able to play in the CFL. This is a complex issue that involves drug policy at the CIS, the NCAA, and the collective bargaining agreement between the CFL and the CFLPA. There's no easy fix here. But the fact that the kids who make it in the pros will basically avoid punishment while the others won't be allowed to return to school hardly seems fair. That said, this all could have been avoided if these players hadn't taken drugs in the first place. Even if certain mind-altering substances make bubbles more fun and interesting. I'm Drew Edwards, and that was 7 days in 3 Down Nation.